On this episode of the Nationwide Real Estate Mastery Podcast, we sat down with Justin Dossey to uncover exactly how to use direct-to-seller marketing to win as a real estate investor. Welcome to the Nationwide Real Estate Mastery Podcast, where we provide actionable steps to help you get your first or next real estate deal. Now, during this episode, you'll discover exactly how to use direct-to-seller marketing to win as a real estate investor. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Sean Young, today's host, and I love all things real estate. Now, before I introduce you to our incredible guest speaker today, I want to make a request that if at any point during this show you like what you're hearing, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the show so that you never miss an episode. And make sure to take a look in the description of this episode, as we've packed it with thousands of dollars in free resources. Now, today, we have the privilege to learn from a man who has scaled multiple businesses past 7 figures a year. Now, prior to his career in real estate, he was working in the car warranty industry. But all that changed when he got denied for an earned raise at his job that he had, and then realized that he had hit a ceiling and that he had no longer wanted to be employed by someone else. I would describe our next guest as someone who is always learning and looking for ways to grow. I'd like to introduce you all to the one, the only, Justin Dossey. Justin, thanks for being a guest on today's show, brother.
Hey, Sean, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Man, I'm super excited to have you as well. Now, before we jump into it, can you give our listeners a brief background about where you're from and how did you get started in our industry?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Peter's about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis. Been here since probably 13 or so. A little bit about me is I am coming up on my 15-year wedding anniversary with my wonderful wife. I've got 3 kids. Couple dogs, a cat, like to travel. We take our camper out with our kids all the time. And in my free time, I spend my time flying paramotors around, which just enjoying the scenery and having a good time.
Nice, nice. So now before we dive into the steps, can you explain to our listeners what is direct to seller marketing before we even get into it? What is that?
Yeah, great question. So, direct to seller marketing is instead of you going through and getting deals from referrals from other sources, you are going out and reaching out to the person directly that's going to sell that property. So, for me, if I am either an end buyer, typically this will work better for an end buyer, but wholesalers, we work with them all the time as well. But instead of having to get this deal from somebody else, you can go out directly to the source and get it.
Got it. Okay. All right. So can you explain how that would work? How would that work for a new investor?
Sure. Yeah. So a couple things with a new investor. The first thing is identifying where you're going to market to. What we call it, call it your farm area. What's the area that you're most interested in demographic wise, cost wise as well. Like if you're not comfortable taking down a $250,000 house, why market to it? Right. So identifying where you're going to ultimately be in and getting data for that area.
Okay. Well, guys, Justin is not only here to discuss, how to get involved with using direct to seller marketing, but he is also representing Ballpoint Marketing. Can you explain to us what is Ballpoint Marketing and how is that something that people need to get using?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So Ballpoint Marketing is one of our 3 companies. We specialize in handwritten direct mail for real estate investors, real estate agents, and we also work with some non-real estate companies as well. The big sticking point with us is there's a lot of companies out there that you can get printed mail that looks like it's handwritten, right? Like everyone's got a letter that looks like it's in cursive. It's like a blue ink, but once you look at it, you can tell it's printed with an inkjet or a laser printer, right? So what we do that's differently is we have a warehouse, a 12,000 square foot warehouse here that has 80 handwriting machines. And what these machines do is they will physically hold the ballpoint pen and write the letters for you. So it's just like if you're doing it with your wrist, but with less work comp issues. And we were able to do that at scale and produce a lot of mail every single month for real estate investors.
Nice. And there's something also about your mail pieces or that you offer that's pretty unique as well. where they're characters. It looks like I don't know how to describe it, but they're almost like movie characters in cartoon form.
Movie characters in cartoon form. I'm not sure I know what you're referencing.
Yeah, well, they're some of your postcards.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Duh.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, so our we do like comic styles that are all kind of like a cartoony kind of design. Sorry, totally spaced on that. One of the things that is important in direct mail and in direct to seller marketing is something that stands out, right? Something that is not going to be in the mailbox typically. So on our website, we've got two different styles of postcards. One is a comic style that kind of reminiscent of like the heyday of comic books, bright, colorful pictures, cool looking characters. And then each one kind of pertains to a different reason why someone might want to sell, right? It's a 24-hour cash offer. It's sell it without cleaning it up. There's all kinds of different reasons on there. And then we also went with like a classic Americana 50s, 60s kind of style with classic cars, diners, but they're all animated in a very cool, unique way. Mm-hmm. And when you get that mail, right? Everyone gets mail every single week. If you own a house, you've probably got the postcards that are third and final notice, a yellow letter, whatever it might be. And this is something that just stands out from everything else, even everything else that's in your mail because it's so colorful.
It definitely stands out. It definitely stands out, man. I love it. It's a great mail piece.
Thanks.
Sure thing. So now that we've determined that, hey, I love these mail pieces. I love what, what Ballpoint has to offer. I'm still kind of new at this. What do I do? What's the next step for me?
Sure. So after you identify who you're going to market to, right? Data is typically the next point, right? Where do you find your list? Where do you get your data from? The couple sources, I'll just name a few that we use that make it real easy to get some bigger lists on a more national level, I should say, would be PropStream. Deal Machine has a list builder option that works really well as also. Okay. And then if you want some like demographic info as well, like age, income levels, you can also get that from ListSource as well. Those are kind of our three main national sources. And then, of course, I always advise to everybody is if you've got access to more county-specific records that you can't get nationally, right? Like divorces, bankruptcies, different things like that. You have to go to the county courthouse or county websites to get. Mm-hmm. You also want to try and include that too.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense, guys. All right. So now we've got our marketing. We've got some leads that we want to market to. How long does it take usually before you start getting some results? How many pieces of mail should I even send out to, one person?
Yeah, great question. So I'll actually answer that two different ways. So to one person, the rule of thumb is you want to mail to them at least 3 times. So there's an interesting kind of data set that we've seen in our marketing that if you mail to a list of, let's say, 2,500 people and you mail it to them once, only about 14% of the opportunity you could get from that list is going to come from month 1 because people might see it and they're like, I'm not that interested, I'm gonna throw it away. Or I'll think about it, right? Like typically people that are in a situation where they need to sell their house, they're procrastinators by nature, right? So you're going to have certain people are going to take their time to get to you. So marketing through the 3rd time, we see 50% of the deals that could have came from that end up coming through. So, it's not saying you're getting that 50% response rate by any means. That would be, I would love that. But, the opportunity that's going to present itself is going to be much higher if you make it through at least 3 times. On the other side of things, I would say like for people that are getting into direct to seller marketing, specifically on the direct mail side of things, mm-hmm. It is a volume game. Always has been, always will be. Like you could send out 300 pieces of mail. You might get a deal eventually. But historically, from what we've seen is you need to mail at least 2,500 to 3,000 pieces of mail to typically get a deal with the handwritten type stuff. Depending on the market that you're in. So it's also going to be a volume and consistency game to make sure that you're always in front of them and you're targeting enough people to make sure that your efforts and your money are not wasted.
Perfect. And now that we've got all that figured out, how much is it to mail out to mail out, like, let's say one mail piece?
Sure. So with what we do, start as low as 80 cents a piece on our postcards and go up to, at the time of recording this, like $1.80. Just kind of depends on what you're looking for. I'll kind of break it down like this. Our postcards are the cheaper ones and their response rates are a little bit lower, right? Like you might see 0.5% to 0.75% of a response rate on those, where your standard printed mail is like 0.1%. Stuff that's going to perform in the 1% to 2% response rate are going to be our greeting letters. And that's a full handwritten, like 5x7 letter. Those start at like $1.60. So the postage is a little bit different. So it's delivered a little bit different. And it's an actual letter that's getting opened versus a postcard. So what I like to say is, like, if your volume is at like 2,500 or so, I would stick with the letters and pay a little bit more. But once you get to the point where you're mailing out 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 pieces, it then makes sense to kind of move to the postcards for the money that you're saving versus the response rate. It kind of evens out at that point to where you're still getting good results, good responses, but you're not spending that same like $1.60 a piece to do that.
Got it. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. So, man, I don't see any reason why you guys should not be taking action here. He's giving you the steps on how to go pull the list, how to determine the market first, how to then pull the list. How many times should you be sending out to the list once you do get that list? And we've got the costs. So, man, I love it. I love it. Do we need like, if someone wants to get involved with your services with Ballpoint, do they need to have a representative, or is this something that they could just go to the website and do on their own? How do they take advantage?
Great question. So you can always go directly to ballpointmarketing.com and simply place an order. We've got our products, we've got the quantities, we can do cursive, non-cursive, all the options are there. Mm-hmm. But if you are someone like me who just likes talking to people and kind of having your hand held at the beginning, we've got a team of sales representatives that can hop on at any time and answer calls for you. They can call us directly, they can email us, whatever is easiest for you. And there's even a phone number on our website. It's like a click to dial phone number that will take you directly to one of our sales team.
Nice. Perfect. There's one final question about the pricing that I failed to ask you, which was, the more that you send out, does that affect the cost with the price?
Great question. Yes. So there's typically breaks at 2,500 pieces, 5,000 pieces, and 10,000 pieces. Mm-hmm. But, if we are also open to discussing options of, like, if someone wants to mail for a year straight and here's the amount that we're going to do each month, we're also going to take that into consideration and figure out some sort of agreement with you as well. So the longer term we're working with someone, the better the pricing is, or the more volume, the better the pricing is as well.
Nice. All right. Well, man, Justin, we have reached the part of the show that I like to call the rapid fire session. And this is where I ask you a question and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay. All right.
Boom. Let's do it. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents?
Ooh, 8.
Okay. How many hours of sleep do you get each night?
7.
Get up early or stay up late?
I'm a night bird or night owl. Yeah, I mix those. Night owl. Okay. That's mine and my wife's time to hang out.
Okay. Favorite or last book read?
Ooh, favorite is actually probably my most recent one. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Okay. If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Iron Man.
Nice. Something everyone should do less of?
Watch TV.
Something that everyone should do more of?
Work on personal development.
AI technology, scary or the way of the future?
I think it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as an opportunity, it is absolutely one of the best things that I think we'll ever see, and will allow people to get their time back and be able to spend time doing what they truly love. Now, if you're stuck in your ways and don't want to learn about it and evolve with it, it's going to leave you behind very quickly. I think it's going to remove a lot of jobs, but I think it's going to also create a lot of new opportunity as well.
100% agree with you there. Man, this has been amazing. This has been an amazing show, man. I thank you so much for coming on, Justin.
Absolutely.
I mean, what final thoughts would you like to share with our listeners out here?
I mean, really, guys, it kind of just comes down to like, if you're going to do the direct seller marketing, whether if it's through us, through anybody else, the two biggest things I can say is just be consistent and do your follow-ups. Everything we've seen, every deal I've ever gotten has come from multiple follow-up steps, multiple points throughout that, through that nurture time. And, if you're looking for the lay down, you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of money doing that.
Wow. What a reoccurring theme that we keep hearing, guys, which is follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. All right.
Couldn't agree more. We've got tons of data. I mean, I think our average deal is done after 10 to 12 follow-ups.
100%. My team, it's for us is 9 to 10 touches as well. So that could, and that could take any amount of time. So guys, the money is in the follow-up. How can our listeners reach you out there, Justin?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram. Just look up Justin Dossey. I don't remember my handle off the top of my head because I'm bad at that. But you can also reach us at ballpointmarketing.com at any time. And then if you guys have questions directly for me, I'll just throw it out there. My email is justin@ballpointmarketing.com.
Nice. And I'll be sure to put all that down in the description as well so that our listeners will have no problem getting to you.
Perfect.
Well, Justin, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing so much valuable information about Ballpoint Marketing, explaining to our listeners about direct to seller marketing. This has been amazing, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
Absolutely. And to our listeners out there, you guys have once again made it to the end of the show. So give yourselves a pat on the back because most people never finish what they start, and you just did. Now, if you got any value out of today's show, be sure to share this with a friend or on your Facebook page. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and send us topics that you want to learn more about. So until the next episode, guys, you can catch me on any one of my social media platforms. I'll see you guys on the other side. Justin, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
With this crown on my head, I'm seated on the throne. The top is so alone. Only thing that keeps me going is I know my city love me. I know my city love me.